Awesome. So I think we are live. So welcome, Hari. It doesn't have to be a very formal session. It's just a very informal chat about like the work we've been doing, as well as whether or not you find value with that.
Yeah.
And we could also publish it to our potential future customers to see that if it is valuable for them. So Hari, before we get started, I would like you to introduce yourself as well as the work you've been doing with Tidyhire, Param, what those companies do for their customers.
Yeah. So I'm the co-founder of both the products, Tidyhire and Param. Param is an enterprise SaaS. It's a B2B SaaS product for an HR tech, which help recruiters and companies to manage their entire hiring process, right from a requisition creation to candidate onboarding. And we've been working on the product for about 7 years now. Some of the reputed companies in India like Maruti, CK Birla Group, Orient Electric, CNH Industrial, Indigo Airlines, all they have used Param. They are using Param for their day-to-day operations, recruiting operations, kind of. Coming to the Tidy Hire, it is we help recruiters to source the candidates from the entire internet. It could be a LinkedIn, GitHub, Stack Overflow, Quora, Dribble, whatever it is. We help the recruiters to source the candidates from the entire internet, and also help recruiters to do the outreach part of it. So running the campaigns, creating a campaigns, our AI helps them to create a beautiful campaigns, very personalized campaigns to reach out to the candidates, get more response rate, more reply rate from the candidate perspective. So it's a sourcing plus outreach platform is what we build in Tidyhire. Param is the end-to-end process from a job creation to candidate management. So before that, I was a recruiter for about 12 years. Worked with companies like Oracle, IBM, UAG, Amazon. So 12 years into recruiting space. 7 years building the recruiting tech for the recruiters. That's been brief about me.
Understood. Understood. Very nice. So you would say that your product is mostly focused at the HR department of these companies, as well as a lot of recruitment tech that's going on. So I would classify that software company as HR tech. Now,
Not
could you
it's a recruiting tech. HR is
recruitment tech?
the huge thing, right? So HRM is the compensation benefit, learning management, performance management, grievance management, and all. So we cater to only recruiting part of it, only targeted towards only recruiters.
Recruiters, understood. And could you give a few a very small introduction about like what your company size is, as well as how you're funded, what sort of revenue you're doing, as well as your team members.
So we
And,
are a
and
lean,
please be a bit more louder as
yeah.
well.
So we are a lean company. We are about 20-member company, spread across India. We are a remote first company. Slack is our headquarters. And yeah, we raised a seed fund in about 2018-19, half a million we raised from angels. After that, we completely bootstrapped. From last 3-4 years, we are bootstrapped, profitable. Though we are remain profitable, but we are profitable. So that is a it's not that we don't want to raise funds or we couldn't raise funds, but that's a conscious decision we have taken. So a lot of B2B SaaS founders have this luxury that they don't need huge amounts of funding, right? At certain point of time they can make revenue, bootstrap, and then again go back to the fundraising kind of a thing. I'm not sure if we will raise the funds in next 12 to 18 months or not. We may not, but right now, after seed, we bootstrapped for the last 4 years.
Understood. Understood. So that's great. So, talking more into a bit more into your sales and marketing structure before you decided to partner up with Inboxpirates, what were the activities that you were doing in order to generate your marketing as well as your pipeline?
See, coming to marketing, BG, we didn't had much of effort or focus towards it, right? Largely, it was an offline events. We used to sponsor events at SHRM, People Matters, and other offline events. We didn't do anything online per se. From a sales, yes, we had sales team and we did outbound efforts. We did, but nothing on inbound perspective, right? So that is where we did research online and found you, and then we started working with you. But last 6 years, I think we've been working with you for about 6 7 months now, I
Six,
guess, right?
7 months. Yes.
Correct,
Yeah.
right? So before that, there was no specific effort has been made on the marketing side other than the offline events we did. Yeah.
Right. So apart from the events and the outbound stuff that you were doing internally, what was your main motivation towards working on something along the lines of inbound? Why was that important to you?
So it's about brand building also, right? So so one is about outbound. It's very difficult to get the attention of the users because there are a lot of players like us every day keep sending email, keep talking about the value proposition they bring on and all this stuff. And HR tech and recruitment tech is heavily crowded, right? So it's very difficult to get the attention of the decision makers only with one outbound activity, right? So inbound matters a lot because there is other side of it where the decision makers are trying to find out platforms like us, but they don't know where to go, how to check, where to check, because online is also pretty much crowded kind of a thing. So you need to sort of build a brand about you that someone thinks of applicant tracking system, someone thinks about a sourcing tech or an outbound outreach platform or outbound recruiting platform. It should register in their mind that yes, the Tidyhire exists, the Param exists, and all this stuff. That is actually could be possible only through marketing efforts and inbound efforts, which predominantly your team is helping on, right? So one is where these users are based out of. We all know it's LinkedIn, right? That is where you need to do the brand building, and that is how we reached out to you and we started working together from last 6 months on the brand building, predominantly on the LinkedIn side.
Understood. That's great. And where do you think that vision of understanding the power of a brand comes? Because a lot of people that come to us, they think brand building is something that they should focus on after they've hit a certain milestone. Do you think building a brand and building that inbound funnel is important even at the stage levels, or is it something that companies should focus only after Series B, Series C?
So that's a one mistake I did. I also used to think that after a certain period of time, you should focus on the brand building, and that's a mistake I did with Param, right? So we took a lot of time to get there, but Tidy Hair, we are not doing that. We are, doing it from the day one, actually, day zero, let's say, right? So before building the product itself, we started validating the idea, then going building in a public for first 3 months to get inputs from the users, and that's how you also build the brand kind of a thing, right? So I think it has nothing to do with what stage you are in, right? So it has to be done. One is about if you are building and if you're talking about openly in the professional channels or channels like any other channels, could be a meta platforms or whatever it is, right? So you are indirectly building your audience before you build something kind of a thing. So for me, there is no such thing like it has to be a seed funded, series funded, or something like that. You started working on a product, you believe in that idea, and you should start talking about it, and you should start building the audience. And first 3 4 months is definitely building in the public makes a lot of difference.
Understood. Understood. So, you briefly touched upon professional networks as a word you mentioned there. So, how do you think, or like, what was your motivation behind deciding that LinkedIn was one of the platforms that you could leverage for this? You had a couple of alternatives like Twitter or maybe Instagram. Why would, again, it's a B2B brand, so a lot of them default to LinkedIn, but what's your thought process behind that?
See, our audience is TA leaders, talent acquisition recruiters, and recruiters are on LinkedIn. So if you ask me, I don't know whether how about other functions, but TA function predominantly every TA guy, the day in the morning they come, they open LinkedIn only. Okay,
Right.
because that's where the jobs are posted. That's where the candidates write we are open to work. That's where they log into recruiter licenses and all those stuff, right? So for our business, for both the products, the audience predominantly they starts with LinkedIn, and that
Right.
is where I started. Okay, Twitter and other channels they usually do during the lunch hours or a evening tea time or maybe during the bedtime or a weekends, but work hours, professional hours, they have to go to LinkedIn. There's no much of a choice. So that is where LinkedIn has been predominantly our target.
Definitely, definitely. So I hear this a lot. Um, it's also that when these people are top on LinkedIn, they're already in buyer mode, as in they are ready to invest their time into learning something professionally. Versus when they are on Instagram, it's usually late night. They're just scrolling the feed, and that's why average revenue per user is usually higher on LinkedIn compared to any other social channel. So that's very interesting. So you briefly touched upon the fact that you did some research and then you went ahead with us. So, what is the thought process behind choosing a specific vendor to implement your marketing strategy? Mainly because this is not like any other choice that you would make. Marketing partners tend to work very deeply integrated within your systems, and it's really important for early stage companies to pick the right partner. So, what are the parameters you assessed us and then decided to go with us?
Yeah. See, one of the biggest parameter or the indicator what we were looking at is I don't want to have a big plans from the day one. Right? It's a partnership which will continue for a long. It's a long term investment and long term vision. And I was looking for a partner whom I can treat as an in-house team. And it's not about I see I don't have any background of marketing. I'm from a core recruiting background, right? And my co-founder is from technical background. Now I want someone who can understand our business very well, come up with an ideas rather than we go and tell them that, hey, let's do this kind of a thing, right? So I wanted a team who can guide us, advise us, at the same time, um, come up with some creative ideas, very small things, not the big things. So small things where if we fail, also we will learn from that, and it's not a costly failure or something like that, right? So we were looking for someone who who also like us, very lean, um, and also comes with strong background of marketing, and we have seen some of your LinkedIn posts that you have been doing what exactly we were looking at it. And the third thing is when I looked at some of your posts and everything on the LinkedIn, I thought that you do thorough research on the content what you're putting. It's just not a content where we recycling the content or something like that. And in fact, in the last 5 6 months our experiences, there's a lot of research which goes when you really write any content or in a post or any marketing effort. There's a thoughtful process, and also you the understanding our space is not everybody's thing, right? So there are B2C, there's a B2B, then there is a recruiting tech, there is an HR tech, right? So here, the lot of people think that we are HR tech, but we are part of HR tech, but we are very specific to the recruitment tech part of it. Our audience is recruiters. So building a content, building a brand building which is targeted towards the recruiters is what we are looking at it, right? So in a simple terms, I could say that you were lean. We were impressed with the work you have been doing on the LinkedIn. Me and Ashish went and checked about your work. And third, after having an initial conversation, I thought that you are not the one who will wait for us to tell you something to do. You will come up with an ideas and sometimes you may also have a backbone, disagree with us, and you try to convince us to experiment and fail. These are the three things which predominantly 3 4 things were I was convinced, and I thought, okay, let's try for the 3 months and say, and then we are extending from there on.
Understood. Understood. So you mentioned something great towards the end, which is let's try this out for 3 months, and then if it works, let's go towards something long term. Now, what happened in those 3 months that convinced you to continue working with us? Because most marketing agencies, they work with these companies for 1 or 2 months, and then they usually switch providers or they do it in house. So, what was your aha moment, or where did you see value to continue working with us instead of doing it in house?
Yeah. See, first 3 months you don't expect a big results. That's how I believe in. Right? It takes time for you to understand the domain, understand the founders, understand the way they work, understand the audience also. What you need to do with the audience also. What kind of strategies you need to build to address the audience also. Right. So, what I saw in the first 3 months is there is an alignment. See, you understood our company's vision. You understood the audience, you understood the domain, you understood the founders very well, what exactly we wanted to build, what kind of a brand we wanted to build, and how do we wanted to build, right? I think that the alignment in the first 3 months were there. From the beginning it was there, and I saw the continuous improvement on the strategies, whatever we work, be it a content, be it on the offline channels, or be it any other activities we did. There was a pure alignment towards the vision, how we are building our brand, what message we are giving to the audience, how are we giving to the audience, right? So I see an impact. Okay, so see, not every impact I link it to the revenue or number of leads we close or something like that. Maybe perhaps others may do it, but for me that's not the milestones. I only look at see, the thing is, I look at is marketing, finance, sales, HR, tech, all should be aligned to one vision, one common purpose where we are working. You being an external company as a partner to us, I saw that you were aligned to our vision also, and working towards that vision, the content or brand building or whatever is happening to that vision. That is one of the reason we thought, okay, it's a partnership which will continue for a long. Let's continue with what we are doing. And as you know that we discuss every often about how we can increase the bar, what is that we can do differently. uh, you know we challenge each other on every month or every quarter or something like that. But to answer your question, it's not the results. There are results, definitely. The results could be in a lot of things. The Tidyhire brand building on the LinkedIn. It could be a number of followers, the impressions, the content, the amount of work we have done. It is clearly reflecting in the LinkedIn. I want to talk about the numbers there. But what is most important thing is why founders switch the partners, like you mentioned about it, is about the vision misalignment. If I look at you as a typical vendor, which I the vendor part is which I strongly hate or disagree to. So there was truly a partnership, and there was nothing like, we are a company and you are a partner, and let's see how we can work together. There are certain 4 weeks we'll put a certain milestones or activities, we complete that activities and go home kind of a thing. So there was a continuous follow up. What went wrong, what went right, we completely assessed, reassessed, is what I liked about you guys.
Understood. So thanks a lot for the kind words, Hari. And so I want to touch up on a couple of topics that other founders usually worry about, which might have been your concerns going forward with us as well. When working with a marketing agency, a lot of people feel that there is not enough transparency, mainly because I feel from the agency side, the argument is that if we expose everything that we are doing and it works, people usually move the playbooks in house and we are out of a job. From the founder's perspective, they want to be updated on the learnings, even if they're failing on a particular channel. How do you rate us on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of transparency on the activities that we've been doing on LinkedIn? Have you ever had um, any feedback or criticism around that?
No, see, from a transparency perspective, I rate 10 out of 10. There's no doubt about it, right? So, and see, coming to the criticism, sometimes whatever we do, right, things may go wrong. It's not that the intent is something else, right? So, it's not that everything we do will be turned successful and will yield the results, right? Then also there is something that we are very conservative in doing things,
Right.
right? From your perspective, from transparency and activities, I rate 10 out of 10. And I don't feel that if something is working well, particularly from marketing perspective, I can take chances on the tech, sales, and other functions. But when it comes to the marketing function, if it is going well, no founder would like to do something and build their own playbook and do it in house. Because if you do any changes in marketing, right, it will take you a quarter back at least, bare minimum I'm talking about, right? So, and it's, nobody wants to take that risk. At least the founders I know in the community I belong, where we frequently talk about it, nobody takes risk with the marketing function, at least, and I don't have that. I'm sure maybe we have given that enough confidence in you, is, you know we don't think like that, okay, things are working, let's learn, let's write a playbook and let's try to build our own in-house time. Nobody has that much of bandwidth. If things are working fine, try to make it even better rather than expect,
Agreed.
do the things. So, yeah.
Great, great. So, one more question people have is that how fast are they to catch up on the ideas that we suggest and how fast their implementation is? Traditionally, when they work with big companies, one of the things that they face is that a vision that they might have to get translated into a post or a snippet on top of LinkedIn and then get it posted after a couple of months. There's a lot of gap between which product cycles completely change. So, do you think we work on a fast enough basis? And how what would be the speed of implementation of such visions that you've had with Tidyhire?
Yeah, speed is there definitely. See, we like I said in the beginning, right? We don't have in-house marketing team or a marketing head to review and approve the content, and we hide you because you are a domain expert. You know it better than us, right? So there is nothing that we review and approve it, right? So we discussed an idea, we discuss about something, you work on that thing and you show it us, and we discuss it on a weekly basis, and then I leave it to you guys, right? So I don't think so that things I don't know, I don't want to review that. Okay, I trust you guys, that's why I hide you kind of a thing. So that's where the transparency part, right? It's mutual, right? So one is about from your side and from our side, it was a mutual relationship, right? So here maybe even we grow, maybe if you're talking about a couple of years down the line or something like that also, touch would our relationship go, I just hope so. There's nothing like me or my co-founder review that. Okay, so because we onboarded you because we personally felt that you're part of our marketing team. You're our marketing team in a way.
Hmm.
There's nothing that I can review. I should come to you for review and inputs rather than the other way around. So that's where the speed has been, whatever the idea we discussed, whatever the channel we discussed, whatever the things we wanted to experiment, we just did that, right? And that's why there's a lot of activities happen in last 6 months.
Understood. Understood. And a couple of things I want to go through, and we're going to finish it up after that. One thing that I want to briefly touch upon is LinkedIn webinars, mainly because a lot of people want to do them. Everybody I speak to want to do webinars, but they have not taken enough bandwidth to invite the right speakers or take the time to actually invite these people onto the webinars. So,
Hmm.
how impactful do you think webinars are if you are in the B2B SaaS world?
Hmm.
How many of them actually end up listening till the end, and how much of a product usage impact does that have, at least in your case, and how helpful have we been towards those webinars?
So webinars will be helpful when you pick the right content and right speakers. Otherwise, um, cooking up audience for an hour, it's not that easy, right? So I think it's not just getting 2 3 people and you keep talking about it, right? End of the day, until unless there is key takeaways for the audience, they won't stick to the webinar. I think that's where the things we work together on the webinars part. We did a few webinars, 3 4 webinars, but the content, the topic, and then we promoted. I remember one of the webinar we did with about 200 320 peak, and nobody was, and it was continuous for 1 hour kind of a thing, right? And that's because of the content, speakers, and also the right audience we invited for the webinars. It's not that we invite everyone and everyone into the audience. We understood what is the topic and where who it is related to, who the audience will get connected to. We invited only the section of audience. That is the reason our webinars, typically if you compare to any other webinars, our webinars have very strong audience now, right? If you host anything, 200 to 50 set of audience are very standard size, right? And there are repeated audience also who wait for our webinars right now, monthly webinars kind of a thing. So I think that is where the collaboration works. uh, I would have had a team, a marketing team who would say that, okay, you need 600 registration, I get the 600 registrations. So you need 1,000 registration, I'll get 1,000 registrations. There is one way of looking at it, right? So you invite 1,000 people, 300 400 people will join the webinar, and as the webinar progresses, people stop dropping off from the webinar. So the intent is gone there, the purpose is gone there. What I liked about is we have 400 450 registrations, 350 people joining in, 310 to 320 people throughout the webinar staying on the webinar. That is where we did a great job, right? So that comes with thorough research, understanding the topic, understanding the audience, understanding the speakers and getting them registered and reminding them about joining that. And post webinar also, there's a lot of things, what they wanted to know, summarizing the webinar of 1 hour in next 5 minutes, 10 minutes kind of a thing, and sending out an email. I think that's where you guys have done a great job, in terms of, and as a founder I also get motivated. Next month if I wanted to do webinar, I also should get motivated that it should not be like when you board a flight, right? The air hostess will say, mask laga dijiye, seat belt laga dijiye. It's not like that, right? Where nobody listens to it. I
Right.
also should get motivated enough to go and say that, okay, the next month, what is the topic? Who is the speaker? Do it. I think that is where your team pushes me to do the more webinar or podcast, whatever it is, every month. That's because of the right audience, right content, and right promotion.
Very nice, very nice. So, last question. I know you might not like this because you're not a numbers guy, but a lot of people who come to us, the first question they ask is, how do we measure ROI on such an activity? Because previously we used to do email and the mathematics was much more easier. Now we do brand building, account awareness, account based marketing, demand generation, and then it comes to lead generation, mainly because the B2B buyer's journey has become extremely complicated and the numbers are not directly attributed or directly measured. So, what is your idea of how people should measure an ROI on such an activity, and how do you rate that towards Inbox Pirates to continue working with us so far?
So it's not that I don't like numbers. I like numbers. End of the day, I need to do business, right?
Right.
So I need the customers. I need the leads. That's how it works. But the thing is, there's a journey to it. It's not your own responsibility to do the lead generation or get the inbound leads to us or something like that, right? So, and marketing is all not about only leads. It's all about brand building. There's a various activities, right? So online building, the online presence is also a part of it. So what I would say, when I hired you, like I repeated, right? So we hired in-house marketing team. Just that you're not on our payroll, you're an expert. We hired you, right? So now it's my responsibility that I need to work with you to get the desired outcome of whatever the numbers we are talking about. It's not your responsibility to get the numbers. Okay? We need to work. Okay? And for that, first initial 6 months, first 3 months, like I said, we need to work together to understand whether you are fundamentally aligned to the vision of the company. You believe that there is something which you are trying to solve, and there's a market for it, and there's definitely the audience is excited about it. You need to build that confidence about us, right? Like a typical internal, if I hire somebody, first 3 months it's gonna be, they will be inducted into our company's culture, process, product, people, everything, right? So like that, that is one yardstick. The second yardstick is, how, what are the channels we are creating, how are we going to create an impact. Like I said, webinar is a channel. We created a 300 350 audience, okay, and these are our target user base in which ways, and they are getting engaged every month. Okay, so this is one number I'm tracking, whether I am telling you or not telling you, I'm tracking that number. But I'm not
Right.
telling, I never gave you the target of bring me 300 350 people I need to engage with. I never told you that. We
Right.
picked up a channel and we got those 300 350 people. You are getting the right audience, I'm engaging those audience. So it's a collaboration effort. It's not a single person's effort or something like that. Now how do we make 350 to 3500? The future will tell what we will do and all this stuff,
Right.
right? So for any founder who wants to engage with a company like you, is about, first they need to induct you, embed you into their company. That is a first. Whether you are getting inducted properly or not is one thing. You are not working for a monthly retainership or whatever it is. You are truly believe in what you're doing, and you belong here. Whether you belong here or not is the first question. And the second thing is figuring out what is that we can do. One, two, three, four, or different channels, different audiences we build, and then from the conversions keeps coming. So typically, if you like the partnership, if you like the partner, first 6 months is what you look at this one. Okay, one is about alignment. Second is slowly building the channels, multiple channels, to get the desired thing. If you can't invest with a partner for about 6 months to 1 year or 9 months to 1 year, you should not hire a partner. You should hire someone internally, and then you should put the targets and push them towards the targets, kind of a thing. But you are hiring an expert. There is a difference between hiring an expert, hiring an employee. Hiring an employee, if I know marketing, I'll hire an employee, or I know one of my co-founder, I have a leadership level, they will build a marketing team. The entire KPIs will change, KRAs will change. But when I'm bringing an expert from outside, when I bring an expert, the expectations are to do experiment and fail. Right, that is where I will learn that, okay, if I got an expert, I have that extra, that flexibility. uh, I can try certain things because my expert will handle those things. I can't do that with an employee. So whoever hires you as a thing, they need to keep in mind is it's a long term investment, and they are not a vendor, they are a partner. And if they are a partner, you need to be very transparent with each other. And then first 3 months is about assessing into the in the vision alignment, culture, and other stuff first, and another 3 months is about creating those channels. And like I said, each channel, we will have some direct indirect targets, whether we are getting aligned, whether we are getting there every day, we are making some progress or not. And then after 6 months, things will change. It is more about numbers, and I'll also start talking to you about numbers. But we'll get there. When we get there, I need to position you to get there, right? So, and you need to position me to get there, bring them the confidence, bring me the uh, bring more ideas, execute more ideas, and all the stuff. And after 6 months, we'll start seeing the results, small results, but matters in a startup like us, right? Even a small positive change makes a lot of impact.
So, so would you say in the last 6 months that you worked with us, you have seen a positive impact so far on the activities we've done on top of LinkedIn for your?
There's no doubt about it. So, um, a lot of stuff, right? So it's about not only the one thing which you can say about a LinkedIn content. If I take a LinkedIn as a channel, okay, there's a impact. Second thing, there's a learning for us also, right? So when we work with you, okay, this is how it should be done. This is how we could have done before, kind of a thing, right? So there's an impact which is reflected on the LinkedIn as a channel. There's a impact where now how we are seeing the marketing of Tidyhire for next 6 months. Our approach has changed. Okay, now we have done this. We should do this because last 6 months we have been doing this. Can we raise our bar, do something different, something very creative, and see whether we succeed and fail, kind of a thing. So the impact on online on LinkedIn and offline also, there has been impact.
Great. So thanks a lot for patiently answering all the questions, Hari. This was really helpful.
Sure. Thank you so much.